It's December 15th, which means it's trade time, but is it last 2-minute report time yet?
We're still waiting.
Welcome into another edition of PHNX Suns. I'm Espo. That is the smooth one, Gil McGregor. That is the context, Stephen Prigion Gardner. And we've got the Freckle Mamba, Ayrton, behind the Mac. A busy day as we're going to take a look back at last night's game and what came about it. We'll talk about the 2-minute report if the refs ever drop it. We're also going to take a look at who is available now that it's December 15th. Trade season is upon us, and should the Suns do anything? But gentlemen, how are you both?
I'm managing anger. I was angry at the beginning, pregame yesterday, which people might not know why. The Panthers-Saints game ended right when we started pregame. I was angry about that. I was angry about how the Suns-Lakers game went, and now I was angry just here talking about the last 2-minute report not being out. But you know what? I'm trying to stay smooth. That's like my brand, so I gotta be mellow. How you feeling?
I'm annoyed by officiating and the lack of accountability there in particular. But I'm also a little annoyed that the Suns didn't come out and manage the things that they could have yesterday, because that game was there for the taking.
Yep.
We will get into all that in just a second, but I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that PHNX Suns is brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use that promo code PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet of $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Must be 21 and over, physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And so let's start right there. Last night, Stephen, you were out at the morgue. We can talk a little bit about the refs, but I kind of wanted your thoughts on the basketball itself. We had you for a brief couple of moments on the show, but what did you see on the court last night that both was encouraging and maybe discouraging as well?
Yeah, I mean, discouraging, you start with the possession battle, because this is a team that values winning the possession battle on a nightly basis, regardless of opponent or capacity that they're operating in respect to each game. They weren't close in winning or even neutralizing the possession battle yesterday. Look no further than the 24 offensive rebounds that the Lakers had yesterday. Again, any game, even regardless of what else might be happening in addition to that, if you give up 24 offensive rebounds and you're not grabbing like 24 of your own, it's going to be hard to navigate winning that game, just because if they're not scoring, they're winning on the time of possession, if not the literal possession in addition to that. So I would start there. Did anything catch your eye on the possession part? Because there's more for me, but that's probably the loudest one.
So it's funny that you and I were aligned in that you said the controlling the controllables, and I said it too, way before we'd even talked about it together. Mm-hmm. And today I went back and watched some of those offensive rebounds. Mm-hmm. And yeah, some of them were long rebounds, some of them were bad bounces, but over half of them were just put a body on somebody, box out, push them away, get the angle right. And I think that is what stood out so much, because that's very uncharacteristic of this team, what we've seen from them through 25, 26 games up to this point in the season. Very rarely is it the case where they get outworked for the entirety of a game. A couple plays here and there, whatever. But again, I was saying it's very evident that the Lakers yesterday was like, JJ Redick was like, this team is not outworking us 2 times in a span of 2 weeks. So I think that was a concerted effort from LA.
I was frustrated with the center position overall on the glass, in particular on the offensive end. I mean, these are guys that, in particular, Mark Williams, who finished with 6 of them, they're guys that should be putting a body on somebody, not letting their guy get inside them, in front of them before that ball comes off the rim on the defensive end. I mean, you have the advantage as the defender in that situation, and far too many times they gave up the positioning to get that rebound. Those are the kind of things that I don't think are forgivable when it comes to giving up offensive rebounds. Sure, couple kick back, there's not a lot you can do in those situations, or an air ball that you can't judge in the right way. But a lot of these were just not boxing out, and those are effort things, and that bothered me a little bit on those offensive rebounds. Sure, the Lakers came in more focused because J.J. Redick went back and watched the tape and realized they got their asses kicked in the previous matchup, and they weren't going to allow that. But I was frustrated with some of the effort on the boxing out, in particular from the center position.
And on top of that, too, that weirdness at the end of the first half, back-to-back free throw rebounds. One, okay, whatever, weird bounce, whatever. And I know the foul part was in tandem with that, but the fact that you're allowing free throw rebounds back to back, and again, it's discipline. Hey, you got shooter, we're pinching here, whatever it is. Well, it's just one guy. You're getting a shooter. I'm here by myself. Whatever. That needs to be communicated. And once that's communicated, the effort's there, and you get the angle, you push somebody out. And there were so many rebounds where there wasn't a box out. The body was just there, and it's a 50-50 ball. And then they're going to get the 50-50 balls. You're jumping higher. You're timing it better. You're just reaching over somebody without touching them. And again, that's just like effort and controlling the controllables and the attention to detail that wasn't there.
Yeah, that part was again, if you're talking about trying to beat a team that has more of their top end talent than you do, and you know that you're operating in a lesser capacity than full strength, you don't have the margin for error to not close out that half. You did all of that work, scored all of those points, did all of that work to put yourself in position to have the lead going into the second half, and you just let your foot off the gas for literally 0.9 of a second. 0.9 seconds. You went from being up 4 points to being tied going in that. And you see what the ultimate the difference in the game was. Those margins matter. They matter. And Jordan Knott mentioned it yesterday. It's never just one play. You can go right back to that instance alone. Everything that came after that, the Suns going down to the deficit, that stemmed from the confidence the Lakers got going into halftime. And then you look at them being able to work back. You have to work back just to get even and then atone for mistakes that were made in the first half. It's just a very arduous thing. And then you're going up against a team that gets the calls that they get as well. So now you're going against the officials, and the flow of the game is messed up because they're blowing a whistle against you every 5 to 10 seconds. That's a lot.
I don't know, in the foul that was called on Devin Booker with 0.9 on that rebound off the free, I'm not sure what else he's supposed to do. He's literally going up for it. LeBron's behind him. The contact's made as LeBron's kind of going over the top of him. That one's a tough one, right? That's a tough one. But the first foul that let LeBron get to the free throw line before that was not great. And then you look at Steven, you provided a great, asked Ayrton to make a great graphic about clutch minutes for this team. And I know end of quarters don't technically count as clutch minutes, but you look how they closed out the end of the first half, the end of the third quarter, and then the end of the game. Yep. And the Lakers were more composed in those moments and got the job done with the help of the refs in the fourth. But they actually took care of business in those moments. And I think that is an area of growth for this Suns team that they need to continue to get better at. And a night like last night is where you can learn valuable lessons about how important those minutes are.
Yeah, they are. I think you can still glean positives away from yesterday's game because the Suns won the final 5 minutes, because I think it was around the 4-minute mark where they called a timeout after the Lakers were going on another scoring barrage. And they come out of that timeout, and I think the Suns were down either 11 or 14. I think it was 11. And they just chip away slowly but surely. Last night I talked about some of the defensive adjustments that they made with their cross-matching and switching and all of the activity that came with everything that they did in that final 4 minutes. That's a game within a game. The Lakers were trying to adjust and catch up to what the Suns were doing because they hadn't done that in the prior 40-ish minutes that happened in the rest of the game. So that part was very important for me because I think that's something they can lean into more. The timing of it, though, having to go to it instead of it being something that's in addition to what you already were doing, it's just different. You got to be able to have that spark in those moments to close the half so that you don't have to go and, pull out this drastic comeback at the end of the game. I think that changes a lot for them if they're able to clean that up.
Yeah, and while it's not technically, quote-unquote, clutch time, it's closing, right? So, like, the way you close the first quarter, the way you close the first half, whatever it is. And the Lakers, you talk about LeBron James, even in year 23, Luka Doncic in the prime of his career. They are closers. Devin Booker is a closer, and we've seen him close games before. And he did it. He did his best to do so last night, at least in the fourth quarter. But to your point, Stephen, a 4-6 point swing at the end of the second quarter is just as important as a 4 or 6 point swing in the fourth quarter because ultimately it all goes to that final score. The score doesn't reset after every quarter. So, you see it more and more as the season goes on, especially what makes the playoffs so special. People realize that every single possession matters. Every single possession counts. In the case of the Suns last night, you're without a top 2, top 3 player on your team. You've been without them all year. But that makes every single possession that much more important, and you can't let that slippage happen and impact you. To the other point, obviously, this team doesn't quit. We've seen it time and time again, and even through that fourth quarter we were talking about, when they got it to 14 or 11, whatever it was, that's what we were saying in the office. I was like, I feel like they can give it one more shot if they can get it to 11, get to single digits. And they did. I didn't expect them to come back and take the lead, and they did. And that just speaks to the mettle of this team, and it speaks to the fact that even when they aren't controlling the controllables for half, 2/3 of the game, they still have that spurt in them, which you can leave at least encouraged from that because they ended the game on a high note.
But that end of the third into the beginning of the fourth, I think also speaks to the fact that this is still a team trying to figure it out in a rebuild. You give up a 24-0 run
for like 8 minutes.
So you go 8 minutes without scoring at all.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, and to your point, even if you go 24-4, you win that game. Even if you get one stop in that. So all those minutes add up, and that was the stretch to me where you look at it. The defense disappears. The offense goes ice cold, and you don't have anything that resembles what you've done all year. That's where you really lost the game. And yes, the refs screwed you in multiple ways, but even you can overcome that if you even cut 3 points off that run. It's a different game.
It is. It's a completely different game. And I think because it feels more like an anomaly than it is something that's recurring, I don't sit with it too much, but I do. It's definitely something to note because the opponent that it's going up against. So we talked about the tiering of the Western Conference right now. You have the top 3 teams. There's factions within that top 3 alone. And then you have the next 3 teams. That next 3 teams is the tier that the Suns are trying to punch up into. Now, naturally, they still have another game against the Lakers because of how the schedule is set up, as well as back-to-back versus the Warriors. So you get 3 direct opportunities against 2 of the teams in that middle tier still, but you have to handle your business. I feel like there's a little bit more precedence that's going to now be put on to each of these 3 games against the 2 versus the Lakers, or 2 versus the Warriors and the 1 versus the Lakers remaining.
Yeah, you talked about punching up a weight class, and I'm not coming out of yesterday panicking about anything. I think it was more uncharacteristic than anything, but I do wonder, and I'll ask both of you guys, basically what this team has been doing all year. Next man up. There have been guys kind of playing outside themselves and doing more than we thought they were going to be asked to do this year. And at any point, do you think maybe like you just kind of run out from that reserve where it's like, man, like you saw it from Royce, like hot start, ran out of steam. Like Colin Gillespie, I think teams are starting to key in on him a little more. I think he has a place in this league as probably a double-figure scorer, but maybe not necessarily to the extent that he has been needed for the stretch. Like maybe he can do that for 2 weeks, but past that is too much. And maybe this Jalen Green stuff is happening at the right time because if he comes back, everything can kind of settle in back to where it is. And I don't know if that's just my view or what you think.
No, that's the next man up.
Yeah.
You need Jalen Green to come in and carry that and put Colin back with the bench group where he's performed extremely well this year. Like you need things to settle into expected rotations.
Yeah.
Devin's back now. Okay, that's a start. Then give me Jalen Green, and let's start to figure out what this team really is supposed to be like and the puzzle to fit. Because, yeah, Colin Gillespie worked his ass off to give you chances in games that you shouldn't have. I mean, that Minnesota game is the prime example of that. And you've had plenty of guys step up and do things. But at some point, yeah, you need your star to come back or one of your two stars to come back and take that role and get to the free throw line and take some of that scoring pressure off of other guys so they can focus on what they do best. And that's the hope. We're hoping we're a week, maybe 10 days away from that, and you can get some normalcy.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you guys are bringing that up because I kind of asked Colin about that at practice on Saturday, framing it around. Do you think you all will be better suited once everybody's back into the roles that this team was built for them to play to, because of having spent so much time with guys being in different roles and learning more about guys maybe being able to play to different skill sets than you would have thought that maybe needed to because of other players being around so you don't have to do certain things? And he essentially, in a long-winded, very detailed manner, said, yes, absolutely. And then ended it with a Villain Jr. smirk and said, I'm looking forward to when everybody's back. Very reassuring, very reaffirming. And, yeah, I feel like what he said is an example of what everybody else has in mind, to your point.
Yeah.
Once everybody's back, now he's in that super sub, that almost six starter or actually six-man type of role. Grayson's back in the role that this roster was intended for him to be in, while also having someone that he really hasn't played with yet in Jalen Green. Everything hits a little different. Mark Williams is playing more minutes now, so there's less dependent on the other centers in the rotation right now. Royce O'Neal is back on the bench. Like, all of this stuff really, really matters because now if Royce has the first half that he had, maybe that's all they needed from the person that's in that role, because now Jalen Green's coming in with this 25 to 27 and Devin Booker is scoring more efficiently because he has less attention on him. Like, there's a cascading effect on all of these kind of roles. And to your point about the puzzle piece, that's why it is that. When the puzzle pieces are there and everybody's intact, even a smallest surge from what was going to be one of the better bench points per game teams once everybody's back in that role, going to shift things dramatically.
Well, that's like me asking you to host this show and you to fill in on GM because I'm, I decide to walk away for a few days. Mm-hmm. Are you capable of it? Damn sure you're capable of it. Would you want to do it long term? Probably not, because it's not what you were hired to do, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a natural thing with players. Yeah, sure, I can fill in and I can do this, but eventually, my role is my role, and I need to be back there. And they've done it admirably. I love what they've been able to do. But what do we make of Devin Booker's return to the lineup last night and what he was able to do and how that kind of turned out? We didn't really hone in on it last night because there's so many other things, but I wanted to get your thoughts, both of you, on that today.
Yeah, I like the mindset that he had yesterday. I think there are some moments where it's clear that he's now getting back into game rhythm and game shape. There's a difference between being ready to play and being in game rhythm, game shape. That's going to come with that. He might not be back in that space fully until closer to the new year, just because of them having gaps between games. They don't play again until Thursday, and then they don't play again until Saturday after that. So it's going to take some time, but I think he had the right mindset for the matchup that they had yesterday. And the Lakers wanting to do a ton of different things. I enjoyed the game plan from the Suns and telling Luka Doncic that we maybe let you off the hook a little bit too much last time we played. You're going to be guarding today, my guy. Whether you're guarding Grayson Allen, whether you're guarding Colin Gillespie, whether you're guarding Devin Booker, we're going to set screens that trigger a switch, and now you're going to have to guard one of our primary ball handlers. And with Devin in particular yesterday, I like that on his catches, he wasn't catching and then waiting to see what was happening. He was catching and going. There's multiple instances where they triggered a switch for Luka. Luka's starting to close out to him. Devin catches it. He's not waiting. He's just going to get to a midi, going to get to the rim, going to get to attracting extra attention, and then making a pass because they know that's a mismatch. And now the Suns have a wide open shot or another opportunity for somebody to keep advantages. And I feel like that kind of quick mindset that he had was more than appropriate for yesterday's game. He also had some good moments defensively as well, where they're switching and he's getting up into guys' airspace and just not allowing them to operate comfortably. So he played well for me yesterday, especially considering the way that the ebbs and flows of calls was yesterday.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, thinking about his performance and him kind of getting into it, one thing you talked about, it is a good thing that obviously it's going to take a little bit longer for him to get back in game shape with the spaces in between games, but it's a benefit in that it'll give him more time to recover and, see how things react to this. Like, pretty good workload last night from 31 minutes. And, we talked about the three-pointer, still not there. I was going to try to see. I think it's somewhere in the 20s over the last X amount of games, and I think something's off there with the jumper, like ever so slightly, because he was getting some clean looks. But the fact that he was 7 of 12 from inside the arc was encouraging, and the fact that in the second half there was that marked level of aggression and assertiveness to get to the line. I mean, he just said, "I'm a star too. I'll get a star whistle," and he sure did. And I mean, they were fouls, but it was like, you know what? Look, he took more free throws than the other two guys. Obviously, they took 28 combined, but he had 16 of his own. He took advantage of those as well. So it was good to see that, because I think that when somebody's tentative, not trusting themselves and not trusting their body after a lower body injury, soft tissue injury, you wouldn't have seen that level of assertiveness and trying to find different ways to play. And we talked about the scoring post-game. We're talking about it again now. But first half, I really was the playmaking. Finished with 7 assists and 6 boards as well. So I think that's the other thing, the fact that he was making this impression felt in all different facets of what we've known him to do. Basically in this stage of his career, seeing that again was a pleasure for me to see.
Yeah, and I think as he works himself back into game rhythm, a 24-0 run wouldn't happen, because he's the guy you go to and go, break this right now. Go out there and score. So hopefully that will come about. Hello to everybody in the chat, including hello. I see you talking about John Cena's final match. I couldn't see it. I'm just going to say that. Yeah, I couldn't see it. Nope. Good to see Deborah back.
Could not resist. He just could not wait.
I mean, they're talking WWE, which usually is what you do on PHNX D-backs. You don't come in here to the Suns chat and do that, because Derek's Mr. Wrestling. But, we'll talk it a little bit. But thank you to Deborah for being back. Good to see you. Humble Rumble, hello. And Freckle Mamba in there, as always, just stirring things up. That's
we have a new member.
We do. Do we have the name? That was all the way at the top, and I don't have a good memory. Scott Bondelli. MVP. Thank you for becoming a member of the Supporters Club. If you want to become a member of the Supporters Club, hit that join button or click the link in our description. You can become a member of the Supporters Club and unlock those unbelievable emojis and also some great gated content that Steven puts out there. And by the way, Sam, who wants to trade Devin Booker, you can't do it till January 15th. So how about you shut it until then, and then we'll tell you to shut it at that point as well. On the other side of the break, it's December 15th. It means trade time, and no, there hasn't been a 2-minute report yet. Got to tell you about our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You will love it out there. One of their 4 Valley locations, you go out and you're going to get taken care of like your royalty. And you don't even have to be there. It doesn't have to be any royalty in your bloodline. They're going to take care of you, and they're going to show you a good time, whether you like good food, which they've got it. Casual to classy, they've got it. Prime Shula Steakhouse is out at Wild Horse Pass. It is one of the best restaurants in the valley. You guys both need to try that out. But it's not just that. It's also the 4,500 table games and live slots as well. You're going to love all of it out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can join us out there for every Cardinals road game and select Suns road games this season as well. So you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details and tell them Espo sent you, and you're going to get absolutely nothing, but you'll still have a good time. Rally House, they are like my mecca. I love going to a Rally House because it's got everything when it comes to Arizona sports gear. You can find the Cardinals, the Coyotes even, the Suns, Diamondbacks, ASU, GCU, U of A. If you want it, they've got it. And they've got everything. We're talking shirts. We're talking hats. We're talking water bottles. We're talking sunscreen. Not that you really need a sports themed sunscreen, but they got it if you decide that you do. I mean, they even have like those giant necklaces with the team logo. Yeah, like I can make you all look like champions wearing those logos alone. So you're going to want to go check out Rally House. 3 Valley locations, Glendale, Tempe, Mesa. You're going to go out there and you're going to love it. I promise you, because I know Arizona sports and they've got everything you need. So find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. We got to congratulate Aaron because he said he's in here checking in from the hospital, which got me concerned. But then he said, my son was born yesterday. Newest Suns fan on the block. So, Aaron, congratulations to you, your new son, and your lady friend there. I don't know if it's your wife or whoever. Congratulations on that. Let me tell you. Watching us is a bold choice while you're at the hospital with the newborn, but I hope he's enjoying us. Gil will be by later this evening to sing a lullaby with his beautiful voice to help put your new child to sleep.
For him, the mom, and the baby, MVP, MVP. MVP.
Honestly, it's really just mom and the baby, right?
Baby's rookie of the year.
I mean, he had one moment, and the rest of them went through 9 months.
That's
true. Good on Aaron, though. Congratulations on little Booker Nash Wilson, is what I'm going to guess his name is. We got something exciting. It's our 5 days of giveaways for our diehards, and we are giving away 2 PHNX branded Bills hats here. We've got a wheel. We're going to spin it because why wouldn't you? It's fun to do that when you got a giveaway. So here we go. Let's spin the wheel. We're going to see which one of our 55 diehards from our Discord wins today, and it is... No one cares. Congratulations, no one cares. I hope you care that you won. DM Leah in our Discord. You are going to get 2 branded Bills PHNX hats of your choice. They are beautiful, and you're going to love them. If you want to be part of our 5 days of giveaways, sign up to become a diehard member today by going to gophnx.com. You're going to unlock our Discord, the best place to discuss Arizona sports with some of the smartest and some of the least smart, myself included, people in all of Arizona sports. Plus, you're going to unlock great content and great giveaways like this. So make sure to join today at gophnx.com. Steven, you saw a little news today about the Valley Suns, correct?
Yes. Kaman Maluach and Rasheer Fleming will be on assignment tonight. The Valley Suns are playing a back-to-back in Utah against their Salt Lake City G League affiliate team. So I think both games are tonight and tomorrow night at 6 p.m. our time. So I think tomorrow's game will be on Suns Plus. Let me double check the schedule while I'm speaking to that.
Is tonight a Roku game? I know that
tonight is a Prime Video game.
Prime Video.
So it's a Prime Video game against the Salt Lake City Stars. It's on Jazz Plus if you're a Suns fan. You happen to have Jazz Plus. I imagine no one, but yeah, tomorrow's game it says will be on Jazz Plus as well, but it will also be on ESPN Plus.
Should we be concerned because the last time a Suns team was on Prime, they lost by 49? Should we be a little worried tonight?
Well, I mean, the last 2 games that Maluach and Fleming played, the Valley Suns won, including the last one on another late comeback type of effort. So I don't think that's the case for them, but remains to be seen coming into tonight.
I don't know, man. The Salt Lake City Stars had 174 their last time out. I'm just saying. In regulation.
Oh my God. I feel bad for Kaman and Rasheer. They're like, hey, we know that we got a break here, but we're sending you to Salt Lake City. Have fun.
Yeah, in the winter. Yeah, tough.
They said it's as close to right around the corner as it gets, though. One state away.
There you go.
It's true.
There you go.
All right. Well, it is December 15th, and we know that means something because we're constantly reminded in the NBA that means a large portion of the NBA that signed in the offseason is now available via trade, which usually means the gates are now open for trades to start happening around the league. Yes, everybody that's been waiting with bated breath now may see some deals go through. What has caught your attention in terms of the guys that have come available as of December 15th? And do you guys think that this means the Suns might be on the clock at all.
I mean, yeah, the door opens a little bit, right? I think the number was 82 guys that signed contracts this offseason are now eligible to be traded today. That's not an insignificant number. I think that's right around 20% of the league. And we've talked about it a lot, right? Big men who can stretch the floor, big men who can protect the rim, preferably somebody who could do both. And of that list, I actually wrote a couple of names down of guys who could fit the bill one way or the other or both, in no particular order. Brook Lopez, Chris Boucher, Day'Ron Sharpe, Bobby Portis, Marvin Bagley III, Larry Nance Jr., and Kevon Looney. I don't know when I say those names. I feel like they fit the bill somehow, and there are advantages and disadvantages and strengths and weaknesses would come with either of them. But does anything stand out to you guys when I say those names?
Yeah, I hear a whole lot of vets, a whole lot of experience on the playoff stage, a whole lot of experience in understanding how to navigate a regular season. A whole lot of guys that also know how to, in some capacity, have shown to reach younger players and be able to also start in a pinch or play some significant minutes if someone's in foul trouble so that you don't have to feel like you're losing your competitive edge off a game plan or off of your talent. So three names that come to mind from the names that you mentioned, Gil. Brook Lopez, three-point shooting, of course, yes, but the Suns need size, and Brook is as big a center, as big a tree as you can put in your front court at this point in the season. That can also bring you a return on investment by his impact and play. Can still rebound the basketball, has shown to be able to switch and do things like that over the last handful of years.
But a lot of people are looking at what he's doing in LA and saying he's washed. I think it's because he's a Clipper right now and everybody looks washed.
And that's my question. My rebuttal to that is, who has looked good for the Clippers this season?
Yes.
And the answer is, it lies there. You bring him into a new situation, a different role, different players around him, a completely different ecosystem. That's enough to even rejuvenate guys like Brook that's been in the league for a long time now. I don't want to disrespect his age, but he's a OG in the league for a reason. Bobby Portis, 4, that's about 6'9", 6'10", has played the 5 for the I can say the Brooklyn because I'm talking about Brook. Has played the 5 for the Milwaukee Bucks behind Brook Lopez in meaningful moments the last handful of seasons. Another big that's more than capable of switching. The Suns don't have a small ball center option. He would strike that box and then some, but also give them someone that could play next to Mark Williams, give you a little bit more size, and also that experience factor is invaluable as well with him. And then the other name for me is Kevon Looney. Yeah. Now, he's the less quote-unquote sexy of the names, but that guy has a ring. That guy has a ring with one of the biggest blueprints in the league right now as far as how to go about developing pieces and winning the championship with the Golden State Warriors recently. Another big that can switch. He's only like 6'9", but he plays bigger than his 6'9" frame suggests. And he's someone that does a lot of the blue-collar things that the Suns have shown to want from their front court. So commonality between position, size, and the versatility that they're all providing.
Kara said she feels that Kevon Looney's washed, so don't get him. But I think it's tough to tell. That's another situation. What is he, in New Orleans?
New Orleans.
He hasn't played since December 2nd. So it's like, is it him? Is it the situation? Is it both?
It's the situation.
He was okay for Golden State last season.
When he played.
Right, that part.
I am entertained by the fact that you could do the funniest thing possible and trade for Marvin Bagley III, which then you now didn't get Luka, let DeAndre Ayton go, and you get Marvin Bagley. It'd be entertaining to me in that draft. But I agree. Brook Lopez is a guy that I've said low cost. I think could have a decent benefit. Bobby Portis, you could wind up using that open wide eye emoji a lot, which I'm down for. But I think he could definitely help, to your point, Stephen, playing a little small ball, 5, playing alongside Mark Williams. It answers, it's almost twofold. It gives you a backup center option, but also gives you a power forward option that you've been looking at.
And I think that's the thing to keep in mind with any of these guys the Suns are looking at, because these aren't guys you're going to be giving up the minimal assets that you do have to bring in, but you also aren't going to be asking them to play some 25 to 30-minute role it might only be 10 to 12 minutes that they need with Mark Williams playing better. Also, is still playable. Hasn't been the best the last game or two, but still has shown to be impactful for them. How impactful does he become if you have another option to where he's not the only one that's behind Mark? And similarly, how much better does Mark get because the minutes behind him grow better as well? There's kind of a domino effect in that faction of the roster alone. I feel like they would take a hit in a positive way from either one of those 3 or 4 names that we just mentioned.
I think the thing with Portis for me is that if Kaman actually winds up being able to play rotational minutes, you can slide him in at the 4. You didn't trade for a piece that then becomes invalid in that as well.
And the thing with him, too, I think that bubble's about to pop in Milwaukee. There's a bunch of stuff with Giannis right now. They lost to the Nets by 45 points last night. And they're 11 and 16. I think they're on the verge of hitting the button to hit reset because they're probably going to have to. So I know there's talk about a guy of that value probably has to require value in return. But I could see a world in which the Bucks are doing 3-team deals and they're just getting guys out of there and trying to just bring in as much as they can. And it's not necessarily they take on a guy who's at the bottom of your roster just to clean things out, clear the books, and start over. Another one that stood out to me, I was going to say Day'Ron Sharpe, a young guy. The Nets have a lot of guys on their roster. So if they're just trying to determine who they like and don't like, he could be a guy who's potentially on the outs, a guy who can run the floor well, and I think that you know what you're going to get from him at the floor, just consistent minutes from the big man position. And Marvin Bagley, I know we talked about the him being second in that draft, also being a local guy, but my only rebuttal is I think there are enough Blue Devils in the locker room here. So three Duke guys I think is enough for now in the Suns locker room.
I can understand that feeling, especially knowing where you went to school
exactly.
as a Wake Forest Demon Deacon, for sure. There, other guys will come available though. This is not the only group that will become available. January 15th, another date to look at, and the reason that they're in a different bucket is because they were bird or early bird right signings, and that got a 20% increase in their salary, which is why the CBA is so weird. You got these guys. Then there's a handful of guys like Luka and Mikal Bridges that just have random dates.
February 2nd,
Why don't we just remove that and go, you can trade anybody at any time, because you know what? That's the way it would make the most sense.
Yeah, you think.
But, if you're a pleasure delayer and you want to wait till January 15th, well, here are some names that you could look at. Josh Giddey, Jonathan Kuminga, Naz Reid, Santi Aldama, Davion Mitchell, Quentin Grimes, Sam Merrill, Trey Mann, Isaiah Jackson, Paul Reed, and Ryan Rollins all become available on January 15th. A smorgasbord of quality players here. We're going to talk about them and who you might be willing to give up as the Suns front office for a trade right after this. The temperature is so bizarre right now, right? It's December. It's going to be 80 degrees in Arizona, but then it's supposed to drop down into the high 60s. Who knows? We could be in the 50s by the time New Year comes around. It's not cold to either of you two, but you know what? It is here, right? So you're going to want a smart thermostat, because when it goes from 80 down into the 60s, you don't have time to start futzing with it, and you don't want to lose money on your electric bills, right? That just is a waste. Why pay them when you can keep it in your own pocket? I'm sure APS loves me saying that during their ad read, but it's true. With a smart thermostat, you can save money, and you can use technology to do it, because you can set it automatically and save. And my smart thermostat actually knows when I leave the house and when I come back, so it can turn off the air or heat when I leave and turn it back on when I come home. And APS customers right now get a new smart thermostat from as low as $0. That's free. Visit aps.com/sale. Shipping and taxes not included. Other restrictions apply. And husband and wife law team, I was in a serious accident and got injured. I was with my family in the car, and a drunk driver came up the off-ramp of the freeway and just plowed into us. Never stopped, never even looked. And I didn't take into consideration what I was going to do for a lawyer. I just went with somebody suggested. 3 years later, the process was about as frustrating as I could get, and they didn't help me. They didn't get back to me. But with the husband and wife law team, they do. All they do is focus on serious injury and accident cases. They have a guarantee that if you want to talk to your lawyer, you're going to be able to talk to your lawyer. And they want to make sure that you make more money than they do in it. And that is what you want. Somebody looking out for your best interest and taking care of you and your loved ones if they were hurt as well. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website in the link in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you. So we mentioned a handful of the names that are available and the ones that become available on January 15th. If you're the Suns, what at this stage are you actually willing to consider giving up to potentially fill a big man need? Because it feels like we all agree that that's basically what you'd be looking at. So what would you actually be willing to give up if you're sitting there as Brian Gregory?
A big man. So clear up some space to bring in someone to occupy a new space that was created. But putting one of those bigs in tandem with a Royce O'Neal type of contract, I think makes a solid bit of sense for the Suns. Naturally, if you're doing any type of swapping of multiple players, you would like someone that has more top-end impact that they can provide to you that you just haven't had. So you look at Bobby Portis, 6'9", 7-foot wingspan, can do a lot of different things for you on both ends of the floor, but namely a big that can switch and give you a small ball 5 option and then also shoot the leather off the ball, especially the quality of shot that the Suns create. Bobby would greatly be a kind of hand-in-glove fit with all of that. So I think he would help with them a ton there. I kind of start there, though. Look at the weaknesses or areas for improvement that they have and the ways that they can address that, and I think they have some depth in the guard spot and in the front court to kind of help get there.
Yeah, I was going to say it kind of feels like it's like the old reliable. Like just you open the suitcase, it's the button. It's Nick Royce. Like that's kind of what it is. But like you said, you mentioned Oso's name. I think that's for the right deal. I think that there's still a lot of upside with him. We've seen it in spurts. We've also seen games where it's a little bit tougher matchups for him, like last night. It wasn't his best performance. And now I think you have one bad game and say, oh, trade this guy, get him out of here. But I think that reminds you that if the right deal comes along, you can upgrade at that position. And outside of the big man thing, too, you and I had a brief discussion about, what else they could look for. You mentioned if you want to upgrade in the shooting department, right? If you want to make an upgrade on the perimeter, again, there's a lot of depth on the perimeter for this team. But if you're consolidating to bring in a guy who would be pretty high on the ladder, then I think, again, it has to be the right deal to consider it. But I would not be completely floored or surprised if there was some type of deal that they've been working on that we didn't necessarily think was coming for a perimeter guy or another shooter.
Are you concerned at all? Because I'm slightly concerned that if you start messing with the roster that you might lose some of what has made this a special run so far. And I get it. You're only 2 games above 500, and it's not as if you're first in the West. But chemistry is such a delicate thing, and locker rooms are such a delicate thing. Any concern about making moves even on the margin that could upset the balance?
I think there's always a little concern. I do think that, as long as you have number 3 in that locker room and Dillon Brooks is there, I think he, will keep things together, but also ingratiate whoever it is that comes into the locker room, I believe. Obviously, it's hard. I don't necessarily know, to a certain extent. Let's just hypothetically say it's a Nick and Royce package. I don't necessarily know. Obviously, you're going to miss your guys, right? Everybody has a role and has a hand in making that locker room what it is. But then unless you just, throw some crazy guy with a terrible attitude that just ruins things, actively tries to ruin things, I'm not super concerned about that just based on what I've seen from this team. And obviously, you're around them basically daily. I feel like, do you think that what they have chemistry-wise is kind of like untouchable or?
No, I wouldn't say it's untouchable. Only untouchable chemistry team-wise that we're talking about across the entire league is in Oklahoma City.
Fair.
Everybody else should be more than willing to part with something that's going to add value to what it is they're either already have established or are working to establish. And the Suns are a brand new team, so they're in the working to establish part. So for me, it's not that you don't want to break things up and that it's going to have impact. I feel like the important part is the infrastructure and what they have in-house already. It's very solid, very firm. It's clear what makes them good and when they're not playing to those strengths, what those results are. So figuring out pieces that fit hand in glove with not just the style of play, but the mindset that you have, the kind of blue collar grit and grindiness of the team and how they wear those qualities. Is someone that's coming in going to fit with that? Are they a worker, or are they somebody that's going to be different from that? I feel like that's where any disconnect might take place. So I think there's a pick of the litter of guys that they can go and find across the league that kind of check off the boxes that they're looking for or that should be attainable as well. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago, but I like Ochai Agbaji for the Suns a lot.
Yeah.
Someone that's not fully in the rotation, especially not to the extent that they were last season, but gives the shooting piece that we're speaking to, and also is someone that will benefit from their system in terms of how they play defensively.
A PBTR out says risk-based approach is best. For Portis, the reward definitely outweighs the risk, in my opinion. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think you also have to balance how much you want to go all in on this year and how much you're building for the future. I think Portis is the right kind of, we're not hamstringing anything for the long term, but we're making the present better. I think there are plenty of guys that can help you in both ways. But one name that we mentioned that'll become available on January 15th is Jonathan Kuminga. And there's obviously been a lot of smoke around that name in the Suns for a while. Sounds like, though, based on a report from John Gambadoro, that's kind of cooling now. Do you think that's for the better? Or is that the kind of guy that if you made the right kind of move for, could actually benefit you here?
This is what we call posturing. A guy's value is low. Nah, we don't really need him. We're not that interested. I'm not going to drive his value up and give you any type of negotiation advantages. It's all about playing chess with this. So he's not in your rotation. Oh, yeah, cool. That's perfect. We weren't really thinking about him that much anyway. Whole time he's 1 or 2 or 3 at the top of their targets in terms of the trade list on the board in the front office room. So this is posturing, and I respect it. That's how you're supposed to play the game, 1,000%. I'm not going to give up more than I need to for someone that we like, but that you clearly don't value, so we can find ourselves a middle ground here.
Yeah, again, maybe we'll give up a second. Yeah, I mean, we don't really need him, but if you're, if you want to, I get what you're saying. It is posturing. Another name that came up, though, was Domantas Sabonis in a report from Sam Amick of The Athletic, and he said that there had been and there is interest. I reached out and kind of poked around a little bit, and the feeling I got, and my understanding is that's not the case right now. They're focused on what they have with Mark Williams, also Kaman Malawach, in terms of, and in particular, Mark and Kaman for the future as a starting big man and not Sabonis. I don't think this one's posturing. I think that that they made their moves for centers in the offseason, and they've really liked what they've seen from Mark. And they, as long as it plays out all season that way, that they may feel that they're set at that position moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, like where the pendulum swings on Domantas Sabonis. Like I think to a certain point, it's like gets to the point where he's underrated, and then you like start, well, wait a second, and then it like swings back. It's like wait, then it gets to the point where he's overrated. And the way I stand is you don't want any parts with that. I respect him for what he is, multi-time All-Star, All-NBA level performer at his best when he's healthy. But it just doesn't really make sense with the way this team plays, with what they have in place. That is the type of move, given what it would probably take to get him, that would disrupt the chemistry and probably disrupt the makeup of this team. So there are probably like 1 in 100 moves I would consider to bring him here that I think would be worthwhile.
I like his archetype. It's a very unique one amongst the center group. Partly because he's not a center by his nature. He's more power forward. He's 6'9", borderline 6'10". But that ability to have a piece that can play make and see the floor in the ways that he does allows you to dictate to your opponents uniquely, but it also allows you to kind of slow the game down and kind of play to advantages in different ways. So amongst the center group, if you're talking about the non-Jokic, non-Embiid, non-Wemby type of guys, non-Şengün, he's probably at the top of the list of guys I feel would best complement and even unlock Devin Booker, because Devin could do so much less work with the ball in his hands and just be able to score off of cuts at free will. It would hit very different. He's also one of the best screeners in the league as well. Sabonis is very, very, very good. The only issue is that if you bring him in, you have to kind of alter your entire style of play to get the most out of him. Not impossible, but doesn't make the most sense because the rumors we saw had him coming to play while Mark Williams is still on the roster. He's not coming off the bench. He's not playing the 4 next to a paint-dwelling 5. So it just doesn't make too much sense for me either.
Yeah, your point about the pendulum swinging, that could just be the Kings.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
We've got some more trade fun coming up, a new game show. And guess what, babe? Wake up. The 2-minute report dropped. It's Christmas time. It's the holiday season. You need a gift. Are you two procrastinators when it comes to gifts?
So.
100%.
Oh,
all right. Well, then I got the deal for you. Aura Frames is going to take care of you because it's great. It is a digital frame that you can preload pictures and videos on to customize it before you send it to your loved one. And the other great part about it is it's not just then. You can update those photos for that loved one along the way. So say you want to send one to your girlfriend or your mom and your dad, you can update them on what's going on in your life in Arizona and do it in style. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, so you know it's good, by using promo code PHNX at checkout. That's Aura, AURAFrames.com, promo code PHNX. The deal is exclusive to our viewers, and frames sell up fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Mountain America Credit Union. When you're buying those gifts, you got to have a way to access your money, right?
Sure.
Why not do it with a checking account through our friends at Mountain America Credit Union? And you know what? You can have the Suns debit card when it comes to Mountain America Credit Union. So you want to show off that you're a Suns fan and show off that you got that scratch? You can do it with a debit card from Mountain America Credit Union. You're going to want to do it with the My Style checking account. No, you guys don't have to wear a hoodie, ridiculous glasses, and a hat. I'm not talking about My Style. I'm talking about the My Style checking account. You're going to get telehealth access, mobile phone protection, discounts on food and events. You're also going to get loan rate discounts. So, Gil, when you're looking for that car soon out here, they got you covered on helping you there. Remember, you can go to macu.com/mystyle to get it insured by NCUA, membership required. Based on eligibility, some benefits require no cost registration and activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Well, boys, it's time to play the game that's sweeping the nation. Who Trade He is what we're going to play. We got the music. I feel like we need a little game. There we go. Are you ready? I'm going to show you a silhouette that our man Ayrton put together. This is somebody that became trade eligible today, and you'll see his stats on the screen and his silhouette. I want you to tell me who he traded for.
All right.
The first one, this man has 1.9 points per game, 0 assists, 0.8 rebounds, and shooting 85.7% from the field. Who he trade for?
I have no clue. Absolutely no clue.
I was mean to you guys.
I'm assuming it's a big man based on the numbers, and
he shares a name with you.
Anthony Gill.
There we go.
Charlotte's finest.
Pulled that one out. Wow. Anthony Gill. Yeah, you could trade for him right now if you want. It won't cost much if you're interested.
We didn't get that name tip. There was no way we were getting that.
I was not guessing Anthony Gill. Nobody get that. Shout Anthony
Gill. Let's move on to the next one. He has 0.8 points, 0 assists per game, 1.8 rebounds, and is shooting 25% on the year. Who he trade for?
What in the world?
Let's we look at the silhouette here.
Is that the Nassus?
No, it is not.
A great guess.
Good try though.
That's the only name I have in mind.
He's making. I'll give you a hint. He's making $2 million this year.
$2 million this year,
which is an amazing, million per point, essentially.
I might be exposing myself here, but when Espo sent me this guy's name, I did not know who he was.
I could have made this one up, and I think we would. Nobody.
Yeah, I got nothing for you on this one.
I guess I'll just have to throw out a guess. You said Thanasis. I'll say teammate. The dude's in Jericho Sims.
It is not Jericho Sims. It is N'Faly Dante.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't have gotten N'Faly Dante.
I
All right,
easily could have made that up.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't know. No, Mark, it wasn't Jalen Smith. The next one, he is averaging 23.1 points, 5.8 assists, 7.3 rebounds per game, and is shooting 49.5% from the field. Who he trade for?
That's good numbers.
It
Very good numbers.
is.
That's an all-star.
It is. Making $30 million.
Julius Randle?
It is Julius Randle.
Yeah,
Ding, ding,
there you
ding,
go.
ding, ding. Congratulations.
I was going the 4 route. I was going to say it's not Lowry because that's too many assists for him.
Steven, you got to step up your game. You haven't gotten one right.
I didn't know we were keeping tabs on the score for this.
Gil has 2 correct so
I'll
far.
take 1.5. Anthony
Hey,
Gill
Gil carrying.
real.
I gave you help on that one. You
Gil
have 1.5.
carrying right
The next one, he's averaging 5.8 points, 0.5 assists, 1.7 rebounds per
Brooke
game.
Lopez.
And ding, 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 ding. It is Brooke Lopez. The silhouette gave that bad boy away.
They
right
call
there.
me up. Always call me up.
He's making $8.7 million there. The next one,
I'll say real quick, that field goal percentage with the Suns might go the inverse route.
I think he would be
I
significantly
wonder how many threes he's taking.
With the quality of shots he would get with the Suns, that 39 could quickly turn to 93.
93%.
Bring Splash Mountain. Bring Splash Mountain.
Hey, Kilomus Rex. Yes, that's the joke. This is who he play for. That's the joke here. The next guy is averaging 3.1 points, not even 1.4 assists, 2.2 rebounds. Is shooting 40% from the field. Who he trade for?
Did you ever host a game show in the past? This is good.
I did once in college.
Oh, see, I can
on
tell.
college television.
See. Knew he wasn't a rookie.
I watched way too much Price is Right when I was a kid. Bob Barker in the tank here.
I'm not sure who that guy is.
This guy's making $5.5 million this year.
It looks like, I know his numbers, this is not my guess, but that I would have guessed a Sadiq Bey silhouette, but his numbers are way better than that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sadiq is hooping this season.
Sadiq is hooping this year, so it's not Sadiq Bey.
Hello, Oso? 39 and 40%? No.
Nigel Hayes Davis.
It is not Nigel Hayes
So
Davis.
I see Yabu Sele there. That was going to be my guess, but I don't. Is that Gershon?
It is. It's Gershon Yabusele.
And I say
There.
that because I forgot to bring his name up on the list of guys that became eligible to be traded for on today's date. When we had that conversation at the beginning of the show. Anybody that's not new to PHNX knows that I spent the last 6 months talking about Gershon and how much impact he could have with the Suns. Even with now that we know what the roster looks like, I think Gershon would definitely help. And he's not in the rotation for the Knicks right now.
He's falling out. Yeah.
So that's someone you could get for a Royce O'Neal in a straight up type of deal. You might be able to get another piece from the Knicks in that deal potentially.
As long as his field goal percentage doesn't become inverse when he becomes a member of the Suns.
I doubt it. It gives him a small ball 5 option as well, similar to Bobby Portis.
We've got one more for you today. This is our final one. Let's see the silhouette there. He has 10.8 points per game, 1.5 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and is shooting a scorching 52.8% from the field. Who he trade for?
Do
you guys want a hint?
10.8 points. Let's
you get one
think
guess
this
and then you
out.
get the hint after that.
All right.
Let's think this out. 10.8 points.
It's a big.
1.5 assists. I would hope it's a big.
Nope, it's a point guard. And
well, I mean, don't say that because that could easily be Jordan Clarkson.
The silhouette is not a Jordan Clarkson.
But off the numbers, 1.5 assists, but you get.
It is a big man.
I had a guess for the big man, but I don't think his numbers are that good this year.
Take a swing.
I don't even know if he's eligible to be traded today. I'm just going to guess Jay Huff.
Not Jay Huff.
Not Jay Huff.
First name does start with a J, though.
Oh.
I don't know who this might be.
Steven, I'm going to really dislike you if you don't get this.
Uh-oh. Don't risk
Espo
it.
Gave
the names. I didn't come up with the names.
That's your hint.
That's the hint.
Why would I dislike you if you did not get this right?
I don't like this pressure you just put on me to figure this out. Because
I
there's no telling.
I thought the light bulb just went off.
There's no telling where your mind can go. So that's an impossible task to give anybody. First of all,
his
not
name,
John Collins.
His name could also be a male safety device.
Oh, you got to get it now. I know it is. Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Why am I thinking Joe? It's not Joe Ingles.
He's
not
my
averaging 10
guy.
points.
Oh, come on.
The other Aussie.
Oh, you're killing me,
Jock?
Smalls. It's Jock
Oh,
Landale.
there we go.
Oh, man. I didn't realize he was averaging 10.8
I didn't
points.
either.
That's why I wasn't
Either.
thinking. I didn't know
to
he was
Jock,
averaging
man.
10.
I was surprised, and I don't think
Shout
I
out
would have
Jock.
gotten it right either. But
sure.
that is who he traded for, a blatant ripoff of Inside the NBA, which proves I have 0% creativity, and according to our friend in the chat.
Bro, I got it right, though. And I wasn't looking at the chat, man. Leave me alone. Let me be great. It took a little minute. Listen, if you're trying to get into his mind, that dude right there, that's worse than any type of maze you might give to try to
don't
figure
want
something out. It's
to.
impossible.
I can
It's
tell you,
impossible.
I'm in here, and it's not
I'm
fun.
just be happy that we got there.
I'm glad
time
we got
we
there.
Figured it out.
All right. We need to get to it because we've threatened it all show. The last 2 minute report, and maybe the last one they ever issue based on what they actually said. Why don't you walk us through it?
I got it
Joe?
up, and I will point out before I get to what we really want. There are 2 incorrect calls that they acknowledged. First, with 1 minute and 41 seconds left, Dillon Brooks should have been called for an offensive foul on Marcus Smart. He overtly and abruptly veered into Marcus Smart, delivering contact that dislodged him from his position.
Oh, really? Okay.
The other one that was not called, Luka Doncic should have been called for an offensive foul on Dillon Brooks as he overtly and abruptly extended his leg into Brooks and initiated more than marginal contact that affected his ability to defend. Now, the ones that everybody is wondering about are the final, that weird stretch down the line. LeBron James, correct non-call. He contests to the side of Dillon Brooks and would have avoided making contact if not for Brooks extending his left leg and knee toward James.
So taking a normal momentum jump shot. Okay, understood.
Well, but what does his leg create some kind of involuntary arm
I
movement?
found the mic.
I mean,
LeBron tax.
yeah.
tax.
I mean, in the rib.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he think? He was French, like a little the baguette there,
That's
throwing
the
the
thing. I was
elbow.
gonna say, like, even if he kicked his leg out, like you said, he didn't kick his midsection out. It's impossible to do. He didn't do this. Like, hit me. Like that. Yeah, like I don't know about that one. Then right after that, Dillon Brooks was correctly assessed a technical foul for unsportsmanlike physical contact with James during a dead ball situation.
Oh, by the way,
Which I will go ahead and bring up. What did LeBron do to make Dillon Brooks respond the way in which he did? Just go back and watch it. And just go and see if there are any conversations that are taking place between those two. Dillon Brooks scores the basket. LeBron probably sneakily says something to him out of sight of the officials, or
after he jabs him in the
the
ribs,
official,
nonetheless.
LeBron signals
Yeah.
to the ref, and the ref does one of these, and all of a sudden he only sees the reaction. We've seen this song and dance a billion times before.
Yeah.
And it's hardly ever come with LeBron being on the wrong side of it.
And how ironic is it that it's legal contact with an. Thus, we forget the grabbing the ref under the armpit by LeBron. Anyways,
What you mean? It never happened. Just like the John Cena match.
I see nothing.
And the final one, as we have been talking about a lot, a replay review of the foul call on Devin Booker pursuant to a coach's challenge was deemed unsuccessful. Booker initiates contact with LeBron James's right arm /wrist as he is starting his upward shooting motion.
I don't know.
They should have
sneak-
picked the body
Let me
part.
sneak arm in there when it clearly was not his arm and it was hardly even his wrist, man. Get out of here.
Are we
That
including
was kind of funny.
fingers and hands as part
Arm
of arm
slash
and
wrist.
wrist now?
It's all good, you know.
For LeBron, arm starts here and ends here. Like,
That's funny.
just
That's funny. Arm slash wrist. Yeah, there you go.
I want your opinion on this, Stephen, before we get out of here. Should Coach Ott have challenged that, or should he have saved the timeout, knowing the way things had been officiated?
I think it went the way that it was supposed to, but I will shift the focus. I wish that officials' grades on a game-by-game basis were released to the public. Because what good is the accountability of releasing a 2-minute report and there clearly being moments that are officiated wrong, in tandem with ones that y'all choose to neglect, but look at others and say that they're wrong, and we don't see repercussions for these things. If a player plays bad, that's public. If a coach coaches bad, that's public. They're succumb to potentially losing their job, if not losing their role with the team. What about with officials? We see y'all make the changes with who's reffing playoff games or the play-in tournament games or the in-season tournament games, but what about the guys that are making these bad calls? Something's got to give. If we're talking about public accountability, I think that's the next step.
I think that in this case, it was self-evaluation. I do not feel like anybody else graded them because it certainly felt like, nope, we were right.
For sure.
We got it right.
For sure. And then where's the growth going to come from that?
I hate the last 2-minute report. Unless you're actually going to do something, don't tell me either. Then don't give me this slop. Like, just admit, okay, we got it wrong. LeBron hit him in the ribs. Nothing's going to change when you admit that. Like, so just admit it. You know?
Doc Rivers said that in his Clipper era days where they're releasing a 2-minute report in the playoffs and they say, yeah, that's our bad. It's like, don't our bad us. If we're not going to go back and play the rest of the game from where that call is switched to the right call, you can save that because it's not. What is it doing? It's not helping anything.
Nothing. It frustrates people just like I'm frustrated right now. Sean says, ouch, I hurt my knee/ankle.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a head/foot injury.
See how that sounds?
My whole body.
We could go back to go to the NHL style of reporting a lower body injury where you have no clue what's going on. Yes, LeBron was hit in his upper body, and it was a foul. That is another edition of PHNX Suns in the books. You can follow the smooth one, Gil McGregor, at Gil McGregor _ the underscore is there because you can't fit all that grace in one handle there. You got the contact, Stephen Prigion Gardner. You can follow him at Stephen PG3. It's 3 because he's twice and thrice as nice as everybody else. You can follow the Freckled Mamba, Harrison, at Freckled Mamba because he has freckles and he likes snakes. You can follow the show at PHNX _ Suns. The underscore is there because eventually there will be a Larry O'Brien trophy in the middle there. And you can follow me at Espo. I have a nice handle because I once knew somebody at Twitter. Remember, just because it's a foul or it isn't, doesn't mean it matters. Ahoy, ho.
We all silly like the mayor.